Select the one to fight with. Get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Pick and choose the right one. Get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Select the one to fight with. Get it on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes, sir. Pick and choose the right one. Get it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up? You're tuning into another episode of Bae Says. I'm your host with the most, P. Giovanni, aka PG, aka your favorite non-Bae, and thank you for rocking with me again on another episode, and I hope today's episode is very entertaining. Well, the question must be asked, are we single until we're married? Well, the technical answer is yes, we are single until we're married. However, although that technicality is true, diving a little bit more deeper and looking at it from a conceptual angle, we really aren't necessarily single should we make a conscious decision to go and be in a relationship with somebody, or we gravitated towards somebody who we want to call our own in hopes of being married. So yes, even though we are technically single from a legal standpoint, the moment that we meet this person and make a conscious decision to even say that we're going to just talk to this person in hopes of building a relationship, a romantic relationship, an exclusive romantic relationship that should go into an affiance period. And then marriage. From that day on, that next person should be taken into account and consideration in your daily routine. So being in a relationship, yes, we're going to be in a relationship. That's not necessarily single in quotation marks. And no matter how fresh or how new any stage of a relationship is, even if you guys just met the night before and are talking about it, yeah, you could keep your options open and all that. But my viewpoint is, going from that point on, if you're somebody who keeps things pretty exclusive and kind of want to stay on a one-track mind, you should put blinders on to the rest of the world and everybody else out there in the field, because now you're in a potential setting where you're gonna be in a relationship, hopefully in the future. I think it's only mature to cut off all other distractions on the outside world and keep focus on what you're dealing with in the present day and time. So no matter how fresh and how new it is, a conscious effort has to be made to keep the next person into consideration. Every relationship starts from somewhere. We wouldn't have 50-year-old marriages or 70-year-old anniversaries if somebody didn't start from the starting point and observe the starting point as something to turn into a very developed relationship in the grand scheme of things. We can't go and say, oh, we just starting out, so I ain't really take it as serious. Now, I ain't saying to go and take it super duper serious from Jump Street and scare the next person off, or how some issues arise and where the person looking at you sideways. But at the same time, consideration is always key. They say from the moment that you get into a relationship, you have to now start thinking about that next person and how what you do will affect that person and vice versa. So even though when those official documents come through, we have to sign those as single. That's coming from the legal standpoint, as opposed to being married, widowed, separated, or divorced. So in legality, yes, we are single. But the thing is, if you're going out on dates, talking to this person exclusively or whatever may have you, people start to see that and gravitate towards that and start forming the idea, hey, these two might have something going on, even though it's not legally a marriage. Not until papers are signed and there's, legal documents binding each other's together. I mean, a verbal agreement should work in this case, honestly, especially if you have respect in general and obviously for the next person. Then Yeah, those legally binding papers or any legal document that you might have to sign that would say that you're single because you're not married to somebody, but in your mind and in your heart, you know that there's somebody that you have and somebody that has you, and you're making a conscious effort to go about and be married, hopefully one day. But some people are conscious of that technicality and they definitely do respect it. And I say kudos to those people. And they still have a conscious mind that they are in a relationship, even though they have to sign single, like when they have to fill out their passport or whatever legal document that you have to fill out. They still have a conscious mind to say, well, I know I with that person. So when it comes to other things in the world that aren't legally binding, I'll definitely make it known from the top of my lungs on the top of a mountain that, hey, I got this person and this person has me. But the worst people though, the worst people use that technicality to their advantage, to go off the rails and do whatever they want to do without any consideration of the next person in the relationship. Too many times we've heard the argument, well, I single until I'm married, where people use that as a rite of passage to indulge in whatever toxic behavior or whatever irresponsible and immature behavior that they want to partake in. Or if they have already partaken in said activity, they just use that as a scapegoat, a cover up, to cover up the garbage and the crap that they did. And it's ain't something new. This has been going on from the beginning of time. Really. It ain't something new. I would love to say that it's something that this new generation, a toxic behavior that this new generation has picked up, but no, it ain't nothing new. People been doing that. And it's just so unfortunate that people use that as an excuse to do what they want to do and disrespect other people. I mean, granted, you can't never run away from the technicality is they technically correct. Whatever they do, it will definitely hurt the next person. But there's no legally binding agreement that says that that person has to actually stay and take that and has to break something off or has to go through a process to be separated from this person. But to go to that extent and just be like, well, this is what I can do, you know, knowing that it can hurt the next person, because some people just blatantly do these things knowing that they can use that excuse, but knowing that it could hurt that next person, that's mad disrespect. I would say if you have that concept in your mind, just be single until you want to make the conscious decision to say, hey, when I go in this relationship, I gonna approach it from the point where I keeping the next person in mind, and knowing what I do will affect the next person and what the next person do will affect me. So ultimately, even though the technicality stands, the most mature people know how to balance the scale and be cognizant of the variables at play. Yes, from the talking stage all up until the actual wedding day, it's all free game and fair game. You never know who could come along and sweep you off the feet and actually show you, hey, this person isn't the right person that I was planning to make this decision with. Maybe I should go and try my luck over there. And I totally agree with not keeping all of your eggs in one basket. But at the same time, like I say, the most mature people have to know how to balance it off and gauge things out and have a very strong sense of discernment in the decisions that they make. You know, if things really going all good and all that stuff, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you open yourself up to being exposed to a single lifestyle, or people who, young, wild, and free, living their best lives being single, and it starts to get you to second guess, is this the right thing for me that I'm in, and it's actually something that's really good for you? Or you don't want other people on the outside looking in saying, hey, this person ain't really taking it as serious as we think they should be taking it. Even though that's not necessarily their business or their opinion doesn't have any weight in that situation, you don't want to open it to where people feel like they have the obligation or the power to say, hey, let me go and see if I could play my cards and test my hand at this. If it's all going good, just keep that ball rolling. Don't put yourself in a position where it could possibly be crumbled. But anyway, I think y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's just a very short, small discussion on how people take being single until they're married. Some people, they be respectful of it and they understand that, hey, that's legally the truth and it's a technicality, but they still understand, hey, all respect goes into the relationship and I treat the next person that I'm with respect as I hope they would treat me. And then some people just go off the rails and say, hey, single until married, you can't do nothing about that. I could do what I want or whatever. To those people, once again, I say, just stay truly single, not in a relationship, until you decide to make the conscious effort and choice to be respectful in a relationship and do right by the next person. Otherwise, all y'all who understand that, hey, it's just a legally binding thing that you're single until you're married, good for you. Keep on keeping on and keep the faith and the spirit alive for everybody else out there who's looking up to you and saying, hey, I want to be just like that, and hopefully things work out for me. But anyway, that has been my 20 cents on the topic. I am once again your favorite non-Bae, and if you have any suggestions for anything that I should talk about, anything that you might be interested in hearing me talk about, please let me know in the comments down below, or you can personally message me on social media, or if you're that close to me and you have a relationship, you could just let me know when you see me next time. Otherwise, this has been it for this episode. Have a good rest of your day, so catch you later. Peace.